I thought you were dead. Brooke's shocking reunion with son Remy, and the scandal that follows. The sun in Los Angeles went down low over Forrester Creations. This made the light from the sun look golden as it came through the windows of the design studio. Inside Forrester Creations it did not feel calm. There was a lot of tension in the air. Felt like electricity was around. Brooke Logan was walking back and forth in the suite at Forrester Creations. Her high heels were making a lot of noise on the marble floor. The sound of her heels was like the sound of her heart beating fast. Brooke Logan was pacing because she was feeling anxious about something at Forrester Creations. She got a message that was really strange. It was a picture of Remy, her son who she thought she would never see again. He was alive and standing in front of a cafe in Paris. He had a smile on his face. It was the smile she remembered from when he was a kid. That smile always meant he was up to something. He had a way about him and he was very brave. Remy was not afraid of anything. The picture of Remy showed him standing in front of the cafe with that smile. It was like no time had passed all. She saw the same Remy she used to know. Brooke's hand shook as she held the phone. The memories of Ridge came back to her fast. She remembered the night she waited for a letter from Ridge that never came. She remembered when Ridge would talk to her softly to make her feel better when she was really upset. She even remembered crying by herself in her bedroom when she had to tell herself that Ridge was really gone, that something bad had happened to him. Now Ridge was alive. This was something Brooke never thought would happen. It was like a dream that was real. It was very shocking to her. The fact that Ridge was alive was very hard for Brooke to understand because she thought he was dead. Ridge was standing by the door watching her. He did not say a word. Then he cleared his throat. His face did not show what he was thinking. His eyes told a different story. They showed he was really worried and did not believe what was happening. "Brooke, who is it?" Ridge asked her slowly, already scared of what she would say. He knew Brooke's heart was very sensitive because of all the things that had happened to her. Ridge knew about the pain she had gone through, all the time she was hurt and lied to, and all the heartbreak she had suffered. Brooke's voice was shaking. She was happy and scared at the time. She said in a quiet voice, "It is Remy. He is alive, Ridge. Remy is really alive." Before Ridge could say anything, they heard footsteps in the hallway. Then Remy was standing there. He was older and taller now. Brooke knew it was him. He was her son. Remy had that look in his eyes. It was like he had a lot of stories to tell. He had been on adventures that nobody knew about. He had secrets that he had kept hidden for a time. Brooke stopped moving, her breath stuck in her throat. Tears filled her eyes, ran down her face. She felt happy and scared at the time. It was all very confusing. "Mom," Remy said softly. He did not sound sure. It was like he was thinking that maybe he was just imagining things. Maybe it was not really happening. Maybe after all these years he was not really seeing Brooke's face again. Brooke and Remy were both feeling the way. They were both thinking that this moment might not be real. Brooke ran to him quickly, her arms were shaking. She held his face with her hands. She wanted to remember what he looked like. Her voice was very quiet and it cracked. "I thought you were dead. I thought I would never see you again." Then suddenly a cell phone rang. It was very loud. Steffi's name was on the screen. This reminded Brooke and him that everything outside was still happening. It did not stop because they were happy to see each other. Steffi made a call to check on Brooke after all the trouble her family had been going through. When Steffi talked to Brooke, she had some bad news. This news was about Remy coming, and it was not good. Remy's return was connected to a plan to hurt Forrester Creations. Forrester Creations is the company that Ridge and Brooke worked hard to build. This plan could hurt the name of Forrester Creations, and that would be very bad for Ridge and Brooke. Brooke's happiness hit her hard when she thought about something. She had missed her son much and wanted to hold him again. Now she was worried that he might be in a situation with people who were not telling the truth. Remy looked at Brooke, then at Ridge, and he seemed really unsure about what to do. He said to them in a voice that sounded sorry and also like he really needed to tell them something. "Mom, Dad, there is something you need to know. It is not about me, the son Brooke had been thinking about and dreaming of holding again. I did not come back by accident. There is a reason for my return. This reason is complicated." Ridge's jaw tightened. The weight of responsibility was settling on his shoulders. Brooke's hands were still holding Remy. They were shaking as the first signs of a scandal started to come out. Many questions were coming up that did not have answers. Who knew that Ridge was alive? Who made him disappear? How would people react to this news, not just the family, but also the company that they had built together, the empire that they had worked so hard to create? Ridge's return was going to affect the family and the empire they had built. The air in the studio felt really heavy all of a sudden. The trio just stood there. The sunlight coming in made long shadows on the floor. It was like these shadows were reaching into the parts of their hearts, where they kept their deepest fears, things they never said, and secrets that could get them into trouble. Brooke finally took a step back. She held Remy away from her so she could look at his face. Her voice was shaking at first. Then it became steady. She looked really determined. The shock was gone from her face. Brooke said, "We will deal with whatever has happened. We will face whatever is coming next." The studio was quiet for a moment, then Brooke said it again. "We face it together no matter what. You are my son, Remy. Nothing can change that, not things people say about us, not people doing bad things to us, not people telling lies about us." Remy's face looked a little better. He felt happy and strong at the time, and he nodded his head. He knew that things would not be easy from now on. That meeting again, like this was a thing, but it also meant they had to deal with some big problems and they could not just forget about them. Outside the studio, the busy streets of Los Angeles just kept going. Inside, something big was happening. The people in the Forrester family were trying to fix their problems. They had been hurt by things and lies. Now they were trying to heal and come together again. This was not going to be easy. There were still some secrets that could cause a lot of trouble. The Forrester family was in for some surprises that would be very shocking. These surprises would make everyone in the Forrester family very worried and upset. The Forrester family was going to have to deal with a lot of things. And as the camera lingered on Brooke's tear-streaked, determined face, viewers could sense that this was more than a reunion. It was a turning point, a moment where love, loyalty, and legacy would clash with deceit, ambition, and the unexpected consequences of long-buried secrets, setting the stage for drama that would ripple through every hallway, boardroom, and family dinner for months to come. Brooke held Remy's shoulders really tight. She was afraid that if she did not hold him tight enough, he would disappear again. Brooke was feeling a lot of emotions. She was happy and scared. She did not believe what was happening. She had missed Remy much because she thought he was gone forever. Ridge was standing behind them. He put his hand on his face because he was trying not to show his emotions. This moment was very important. It was affecting him a lot. He was worried about what would happen to their family and to Forrester Creations. Forrester Creations was the company he had built with Brooke. Ridge was thinking about what would happen if Remy got involved in something. This thought made him very angry. He did not want to show Brooke that he was angry. Brooke was crying now. Tears were running down her face because she was so happy to see Remy. The sun was shining through the windows. It made her tears sparkle. The shadows on the floor looked like the secrets and lies that the Logan and Forrester families had been keeping for a time. Brooke held Remy close to her. She wanted to protect him. She was desperate to keep him safe. She had a lot of questions. Why did Remy leave? Someone had kept him hidden. I wonder what kind of dangers he had to deal with. Now after all these years, he is back in her arms. He has brought something with him. This thing he has brought is making everyone feel uneasy. It is like something bad is going to happen. The feeling is that there is some kind of scandal coming. Remy felt really uncomfortable when his mom looked at him. He moved around a bit. His hands touched hers by accident. He was really nervous, like someone who had been hiding for a time. He had been living a life and now he was back in the spotlight with his family and all the business stuff. When Remy finally said something, his voice was quiet and careful. You could tell he was hiding a lot of things, that he had seen some stuff. It was hard for him to just go back to normal. He said, "Mom, Dad, there are things you don't know. Things about why I disappeared, things about the people who are involved, and it is not about me." Brooke's heart skipped a beat. The weight of those words was much. It felt like it could crush the feeling that had been surrounding them. Ridge's brow furrowed. He could sense a storm coming. This storm could hurt the family badly. It could bring scandal, betrayal, and heartbreak. In the world of Forrester Creations, nothing stays secret for long. Big secrets like this one can become public quickly. Brooke, Ridge, and Remy were standing in the studio. The city outside was noisy. They did not notice. The tension was getting thicker every second. Every word that was not said made it worse. The silence was almost too much to bear. Then Brooke hugged Remy again. She said, "No matter what you have been through, no matter what secrets you are hiding, you are my son, Remy. Nothing can change that." Her voice was strong and determined. It was the kind of love that can withstand any storm. Remy's eyes were filled with emotion. He was not as strong as he seemed. You could see the boy he used to be. He was a boy who had been lost. Not lost in Brooke's heart. Before they could feel at peace, Brooke's phone rang. It was Steffi calling. Her name was on the screen. It was a reminder that the world outside was still moving. Brooke answered the phone. Steffi's voice was urgent and panicked. She told Brooke that someone from a company had been asking about Remy. This person could use Remy's disappearance to hurt Forrester Creations. This news made Brooke very scared. She was afraid for Remy's safety. Also happy to see him alive. Ridge was listening carefully. He felt the need to protect his family. He wanted to stop any threat that could hurt them. He knew that in their world, personal and professional lives were connected. After the call, Brooke turned to Remy and Ridge. Her eyes were wide with fear and determination. She said, "We need to figure out who is behind this. If someone thinks they can use Remy's return to get what they want, they will soon learn that Remy's return is not something to be taken lightly. We are not weak. We will not let anyone take advantage of Remy's return. For their own benefit. Remy's return is a deal, and we will do what it takes to protect it. This family, this empire, we protect each other, no matter the cost." Her words a rallying cry that infused the room with a sense of urgency and resolve, yet the undercurrent of uncertainty remained, the unknown elements of Remy's disappearance and sudden reappearance, a ticking time bomb threatening to unravel everything they had fought to build, while Remy, looking from his mother to Ridge, nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation, the delicate balance between personal reunion and looming danger, and though his return was a cause for celebration, it had immediately thrust him into a maelstrom of intrigue, a world of corporate espionage, rivalries, and hidden agendas, the very world Brooke and Ridge had navigated countless times before, but now he was in the center of it, their most vulnerable point, and the sense of responsibility weighed heavily on him, forcing him to remember that while love could heal old wounds, it could also make one painfully aware of the risks of placing trust in a world rife with ambition, jealousy, and deceit. And as the three of them began to strategize, to consider the steps necessary to safeguard Remy, the family, and the company, the shadow of scandal stretched long across the room, a reminder that every reunion in Los Angeles, no matter how miraculous, came with consequences, and that the line between happiness and heartbreak was perilously thin, while the city outside continued its frenetic pace, oblivious to the drama unfolding. Within the walls of Forrester Creations, and as Brooke held Remy once more, the sun dipping further into the horizon, she silently vowed that she would fight with every fiber of her being to protect him, to reclaim the years lost, to shield him from harm. Yet she could not shake the gnawing thought that the danger lurking in the shadows might be closer than they realized, poised to strike when least expected, and in that moment, all the familiar soap opera tensions, the unspoken alliances, the betrayals, the family secrets, the corporate rivalries, the passionate confrontations, the emotional revelations, coalesced into a single electrifying instant that promised to reshape not only the lives of Brooke, Ridge, and Remy but the entire Forrester legacy, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, hearts pounding with anticipation, knowing that in the world of the bold and the beautiful, love, loss, and scandal were never separate, but forever intertwined, and that the story of Brooke's shocking reunion with her son Remy was only just beginning, a story that would test the limits of family loyalty, personal courage, and the enduring power of a mother's love against the relentless tide of ambition, deceit, and dramatic twists that defined every heartbeat of Los Angeles society. And as night fell over the city, the trio stood together, united yet wary, knowing that the challenges ahead would demand every ounce of trust, every strategic maneuver, every emotional sacrifice, and every beating heart committed to survival. While outside, the lights of the city shimmered like 1,000 silent witnesses to a reunion that was as miraculous as it was dangerous, a reunion that promised to change everything and nothing at all, because in the world of the bold and the beautiful, happiness was never simple, and the most joyful moments always carried the seeds of scandal waiting to bloom. Brooke held Remy's shoulders really tight. She was afraid that if she did not hold him tight enough he would disappear again. Brooke was feeling a lot of emotions. She was happy and scared. She did not believe what was happening. Brooke had missed Remy for a long time. She thought he was gone forever. Ridge was standing behind them. He put his hand on his face. He was trying not to show his emotions. The situation was very difficult for him. Ridge was worried about what would happen. He was thinking about their family and Forrester Creations. Forrester Creations was the company he had built with Brooke. Ridge was concerned that Remy's return could cause problems for them. He was also worried that Remy might be in trouble. Ridge did not want to get angry in front of Brooke. She was. Her tears were falling down her face. The sun was shining through the windows. It was making shadows on the floor. The shadows looked like the secrets and lies that the Logan and Forrester families had kept for a time. Brooke pulled Remy close to her. She was holding him tight. She wanted to keep him safe. Brooke had a lot of questions. She wanted to know why Remy had gone away. Who had kept him hidden? What dangers had he faced? And why now, after all these years, had he returned to her arms only to bring with him the sense of unease that hinted at scandal? Remy, feeling the weight of her gaze, shifted uncomfortably, his hands brushing the room, once filled with the tentative warmth of reunion, now crackled with tension as Brooke's mind raced, trying to reconcile the relief of holding Remy with the gnawing fear that his sudden reappearance was not as straightforward as it seemed, because in Los Angeles, and particularly within the walls of Forrester Creations, nothing ever happened without consequence. And the idea that Remy's return might be manipulated, leveraged, or even orchestrated by someone with hidden motives sent a shiver down her spine, and she could feel Ridge's presence behind her, solid and protective, the familiar weight of his gaze conveying both concern and a determination to guard their family from any threat, while Remy shifted uneasily, a faint crease between his brows betraying the burden of knowledge he had carried alone, years of secrets, lies, and misdirections finally crashing into the reality that the people who mattered most to him, his mother, his father, the family he had longed for, were now present, yet the relief was tempered by the tension of imminent danger, and as Brooke's eyes darted to the phone lying on the marble countertop, she recalled Steffi's frantic words. Someone was asking questions about Remy's past, someone with the resources to destabilize not only him but Forrester Creations itself, and immediately, the protective instincts that had always defined her relationship with Ridge and their children ignited, flaring into a resolve that no challenge, no adversary, no scandal could extinguish, and yet the reality remained inescapable. Remy's return, miraculous though it was, had become a catalyst, a spark that could ignite a firestorm of conflict across both family and business realms, and Brooke felt a surge of fear mixed with determination as she grasped his hands in hers, feeling the warmth, the reality, and the weight of the son she had mourned for so long, while Ridge stepped forward, placing a firm hand on Remy's shoulder, his voice measured but commanding, reminding them all that while love and reunion were powerful, they could not shield them from the consequences of hidden enemies or the schemes of rivals who had been watching, waiting, and planning, and as he spoke, the faint echo of the city beyond the studio windows seemed to underscore the enormity of the moment. A world moving on outside while inside, secrets and revelations collided, forcing choices, alliances, and confrontations that would test the strength of every relationship, every loyalty, and every hidden truth. And just as Brooke tried to focus on the immediate concern of keeping Remy safe, the studio doors opened and Steffi herself entered, her expression a volatile mixture of relief and alarm, eyes darting between Brooke and Remy as she quickly relayed everything she had discovered about the corporate rival who had been inquiring into Remy's past, a person with a reputation for ruthless manipulation and ambition, whose very name caused Ridge's jaw to tighten, the weight of decades of family rivalry pressing down like a physical force, and in that instant Brooke realized that Remy's safe return could very quickly become the epicenter of a scandal that might engulf every member of their family, their allies, and the empire they had fought so hard to preserve. And as Remy absorbed the information, the realization dawned on him that he was not only the long-lost son but also a potential pawn in a game far larger than any he had ever imagined, forcing him to confront emotions he had buried. Fear, anger, confusion, but also a deep-seated resolve to protect the family who had waited for him, who had mourned him, and who now looked to him with love, hope, and unspoken expectations. And while the three of them stood in the studio, grappling with the delicate balance between joy and impending crisis, Brooke's thoughts flickered to her past mistakes, her relationships with Ridge, with Taylor, with other sons and daughters whose lives had been shaped by secrets, betrayals, and misunderstandings, and she knew that Every decision made in the coming days would ripple outward, affecting not only the immediate family but also the intricate network of friends, allies, and enemies who had, over the years, become entwined with the Forrester legacy. And as she considered the gravity of it all, her gaze met Remy's, searching for reassurance, for honesty, for clarity, and in that brief moment of connection, she saw the mixture of hope and hesitation, love and burden, and knew that their path